criteria used in the selection of the Officers of the Year include the following: demonstration of continued efforts in the pursuit of excellence as a police officer, demonstration of a high standard of performance and dedication in the day-to-day duties of a police officer, any performance that is over and above the call of duty, any incidents of bravery, life-saving or attempted life-saving or rescue, community-mindedness and overall services to the businesses and the citizens of our community. The individual circumstances behind each officer selection will be outlined in more detail by the presenting representative from the police service. Today's awards are sponsored by businesses in the community that are strong supporters of our police services and what they do. The Station Mall is the sponsor for the Sault Ste. Marie Police Service Officer of the Year Award. I now call upon Chief Robert Keach to return to the stage to announce this year's recipient, and Michael Shapaniuk of the Station Mall to make the plaque presentation. Call on Sean Sparta.
So as you can guess, I found out this morning that we'll be doing this introduction. The Chief, the other point is too is I really don't need a written script. Jane and I have worked together many years. I could probably do this mostly from the top of my head, but I'd have to thank the Chief, and just keep in mind that he's the one that wrote this as I go along. Staff Sergeant Jane Marduk was hired by the Sault Ste. Marie Police Service on September 30th, 1985, and has almost 30 years of policing experience. Jane graduated from basic constable training on December 20th, 1985 at the Ontario Police College in Elmer, and she was promoted to the rank of Sergeant on January 1st, 1995. And her current rank is that of Staff Sergeant, to which she was promoted June 1st, 2007. While Jane began her career at Patrol Services Division as a frontline officer, she has worked in many different areas of the service, including as a detective in investigation services, in a division in the Youth Bureau, and as a part-time member of the Intelligence Unit. She was also assigned to the Professional Standards Bureau, and as a Services Domestic Violence Coordinator and to Crime Stoppers as well. Prior to her current assignment, she was the Staff Sergeant in charge of the Platoon and Patrol Services, and then to Community Services Bureau, which is now called Community Relations and Crime Prevention. And from the Chief's presentation, she was instrumental in setting up the Neighborhood Resource Center on Bloor Street. In her current role as Staff Sergeant assigned to the Support Services Division, she acts as a services liaison to the media, as well as supervises the staff and information services such as records and training services. She's dedicated many hours to services corporate social media image, as I'm sure many of you are aware and familiar with the items that she posts on Facebook and Twitter on a daily basis. Last year, Jane was responsible for a 6-hour tweet-a-thon in which she kept the public informed of many calls for service our patrol officers were responding to. We received considerable positive feedback from this event and look forward to doing it again this year. Jane's care to the service's Facebook account has seen a number of our followers grow significantly over the last year, and many positive comments are received on Facebook about our actions of our officers. And the posts themselves show the community appreciates this new type of information sharing. And I know from personal experience, Jane, it takes a considerable amount of time to circulate that information back around the service. Jane is a member of the Ontario Media Relations Network, or OMRON, and she's completed many training courses at the Ontario Police College and the Canadian Police College. These include her basic constable training, general investigations technique, major crimes, major case management, child sexual abuse, domestic violence, the Ontario Sex Offender Registry, by-class, arson, statement analysis, supervisory course, and the list really goes on. Many know Jane from the Crime Prevention Seminar that are held annually by the service. She has coordinated these events and been our master of ceremonies for many of the service's events, including Police Week and our annual Community Programs Appreciation Night. Jane has exemplified what we expect of our officers. What you may not know is that Jane is committed to the Children's Rehabilitation Center and the Easter Seals Telethon, which she holds dear to her heart. Jane is married to Stan, who is a firefighter, and most of you may be aware, as police officers, that there's at times a very healthy rivalry between the police and firefighters. For example, I'm certain you know that from policing, and I can attest to Jean that when she goes home at night, she's probably exhausted from her duties. And when Stan goes home after a hard night shift, equally certain that he is not. That's something. And maybe this is what has actually helped them to come together over the years. Jane has a son, Ben, who many of you met, and Ben has agreed to serve as a torchbearer for the 2015 Pan Am Games, which is to be held in Toronto. The relay, which I ran through Sault Ste. Marie on January 1st, 2015. In 2012, Ben also participated in the third RBC Rotary Crest Miracle Mile just before the 90th Community Parade. Obviously, Jane's hard work and dedication have rubbed off on Ben because he loves the police service that his mom works so hard for. Jane does an amazing job and is always balancing her work, her personal life, and the demands of her family. She has always been available and willing to assist and present a positive image of the service and policing profession. And she, again, from personal side, I know that many times emailing Jane in the middle of the night to put a press release together for something that's going on, and she finds herself available to do that. Jane is a people person, which allows her effectively to interact with her co-workers, partner agencies, and members of the community. She is tremendously committed to the police service, her family, and her community, and extremely proud of her accomplishments, and proud to recognize her as our police officer of the year for the Sault Ste. Marie Police Service. Thank you.
Norpro Company is the sponsor for the Anishinaabe Police Services Officer of the Year.
Me and Kale came to the APS in 2009 from the Anishinaabe Police Service. She was a part of the then Serpent River Sagmuk Detachment and was assigned to general law enforcement duties. There she was a well-respected and well-liked detachment member in Sagmuk. In the fall of 2013, she accepted an acting position in the Investigative Support Unit at the APS headquarters. Much to her chagrin, working under me as a detective constable. Her duties were that of an intelligence officer. For those that don't know, intelligence officer operate in a secret, scary world of finding information out about people and finding information about criminal activity. City entered the position with a huge desire to learn and to succeed. There is a big learning curve in this position. She has a tireless work ethic, and she was not afraid to take on the new challenge. So, it is with great pleasure that I introduce the APS Officer of the Year, Detective Constable Cindy Barbenko.
Wow, those are some glowing words for sure. Ani, I'd like to say thank you for this award. I am truly honored to receive this award. I'd like to thank Norpro for sponsoring the award. Over the past 7 years, I've experienced many challenges and obstacles in policing, all of which have made me a stronger Anishinaabe Quet. The Anishinaabe Police Service has given me the opportunity to grow within the organization, to which I am grateful. My immediate supervisor, Inspector Slash, and now I'm going to say a few words about him now, has provided me not only the opportunity to flourish within the organization of APS, but has given me inspiration and encouragement to fulfill my goals. He's my mentor. You know what's going to do this? Finally, I'd like to say Chini Fresh to my family, who have always been the pillars of my career and my endeavors in my life. So, Chini Fresh.
Our next award, sponsored by Northwood Funeral Home, goes to the Royal Canadian Mounted Police Sault Ste. Marie Detachment Officer of the Year. I would like to invite Corporal Alvin Tang to the stage to introduce this year's recipient, and Anthony Andy, Managing Director of Northwood Funeral Home, to make the plaque presentation.
I'm here on behalf of our detachment commander, Sergeant Michael Fenchak. He can't be here today. He's prepared an introduction which I'll read to you. Constable Mark Allison was born and raised in New Brunswick. He's married to Tina. Together they have 3 young children, Jenna, Drew, and Ray. Mark began a career as an electrician and instrumentation technologist at Irving Pulp and Paper in St. John, New Brunswick. In 2008, Mark joined the RCMP. He began training at Depot Division in Regina, Saskatchewan. Graduating Depot on March 23, 2009, Constable Allison began his first posting in general uniform duties in High Level, Alberta. And High Level is a small town of 3,000 people located in northern Alberta just before the Northwest Territory borders. While posted to Alberta in 2010, Constable Allison was seconded to protective duties at the G20 Summit in both Huntsville and Toronto, Ontario. In 2011, Constable Allison was fortunate enough to receive permission for him and another member to start up a crime reduction unit in High Level. In 2012, Constable Allison was deployed to southern Alberta to the High River flooding and to assist the residents there. And last year, he was deployed to Moncton after the tragedy that occurred there to provide relief and service delivery to the citizens there. Constable Allison involves himself in the communities where he lives. While in High Level, Mark coached 2 soccer teams and was vice president and then later president of the High Level Soccer League. Also during his time in High Level, he coached Tyke hockey and Pee Wee B hockey. Constable Allison was transferred from High Level to Sault Ste. Marie in October of 2013. Upon his arrival, Mark immediately began to look for coaching opportunities and has been helping to coach ever since. In 2013, Mark was an assistant Sioux Novice hockey coach. In 2014, he was an assistant Sioux Novice minor A hockey coach. And this year, he's a Sioux Novice AA assistant team coach, as well as an assistant coach with Sioux minor baseball. Upon his arrival at Sault Ste. Marie Detachment, Constable Allison immediately took action to be an effective contributing member of the team. Mark volunteered for the non-glamorous and extremely important duties as a detachment's exhibit custodian and file coordinator for our project investigations. Both of these jobs are detail-oriented, require high-level organization, and involve tremendous amounts of paperwork. Exhibits, evidence, and documentation are keys to a successful prosecution, and Mark has strived for excellence within these areas. The experience Constable Allison has gained in these above-noted areas has provided him the building blocks to successfully assume duties as lead investigator for a current cross-border investigation, which includes cooperation with our local and domestic international partners. I believe that Mark's hard work, dedication, and leadership will provide a positive conclusion to this investigation, and I congratulate Mark on receiving this award this year.
Women in Crisis Algoma, a United Way agency, is the sponsor of the Sault Ste. Marie Detachment of the Ontario Provincial Police Officer of the Year Award. Here to introduce the recipient is Sergeant Sam Jones, and I would ask Sharon Montgomery of Women in Crisis to make the plaque presentation.
I would like to thank the Sault Ste. Marie Chamber of Commerce for this opportunity to recognize and acknowledge the hard work and commitment of the police officers safeguarding the Sault Ste. Marie area. I'd also like to thank Women in Crisis for this support. Unfortunately, Staff Sergeant Dan Esposito of the Sault Ste. Marie OPP could not be here himself in this presentation. This year, the Ontario Provincial Police Sault Ste. Marie Detachment has nominated Constable Mario Pastorero for the Chamber of Commerce Officer of the Year. Constable Pastorero was born in Italy and moved to Sault Ste. Marie when he was only 13 years old. Mario started his policing career in 1999 with the OPP at the Marathon Detachment. Mario's dedication to his career was only possible with the unwavering support of his wife, Wendy. Together, they have 2 teenage sons, Evan and Aaron, who are extremely proud of their father. Mario is the consummate family man who enjoys everything with his family. Constable Pastorero consistently demonstrates an ongoing position of trust within the community of Sault Ste. Marie. He does this by developing and acting on relationships that go beyond those required for general law enforcement duties. Constable Pastorero maintains this strategic relationship by maintaining partnerships within the local communities that provide police an in-depth knowledge of and understanding of the community's needs and concerns. I need a bigger font too. The event described is a tribute to Constable Pastorero's personality and shows his unwavering commitment for the citizens that we police. The Sault Ste. Marie detachment area recently experienced a high volume of break-and-enter occurrences. These crimes occurred both within the city limits as well as the surrounding communities. Numerous property owners were devastated to find the residences had been violated and their personal property stolen. Several of these break-and-enters occurred during the daylight hours while the residents had gone to work. All indicators were that these brazen criminals were not going to stop. Information obtained by Constable Pastorero led him to an interview with a female who was residing within Sault Ste. Marie. Through effective interviewing skills, Constable Pastorero was able to obtain a confession from a female suspect. The interview also implicated her boyfriend in the crimes. For the next day and a half, the suspects directed Constable Pastorero to numerous locations collecting evidence of personal property of the victims. Further investigation located 2 stolen shotguns that had been sawed off and altered for concealment. Constable Pastorero's tenacious investigative skills resulted in 2 accused, one from British Columbia and the other from Hamilton, Ontario, being arrested and charged with these crimes. Without Constable Pastorero's immediate action, these crimes would not have been solved and the property would not have been recovered. Mario, I am fortunate to have an officer like you. Mario consistently demonstrates a strong work ethic, team-building skills, honesty, and flexibility. Mario is one of the most genuine and altruistic persons you will ever meet. His generous amount of good, will, positive energy and time he gives towards this office, its members, the OPP Auxiliary, and the victims of crime clearly demonstrate his commitment to the OPP and its core functions. Mario has continued to build relationships and has strong ties within the city of Sault Ste. Marie, its police service, and other justice stakeholders. Mario readily works long hours without complaint while maintaining a very high clearance rate regarding criminal occurrences. Mario's caseload analysis demonstrates his non-wavering commitment to getting the job done no matter what it entails. He consistently maintains a high level of professionalism when dealing with his peers and members of the community regardless of the call or time of day. He works extremely well with others and is keenly aware of tactical and safety issues involving investigations of domestic violence, drug, and property investigations. I, the OPP, and the communities we police certainly appreciate the daily contribution Mario makes to this detachment. Mario exemplifies the characteristics that I, the OPP, value. Ladies and gentlemen, I present the Sault Ste. Marie OPP Chamber of Commerce Officer of the Year, Constable Mario Pastorero.